Hello guys, hope you're doing well. I'm Ollie. If you enjoy a good Reddit story, feel free to hit that subscribe button. I won't stop you. Right then, let's crack on with our first story of the day. The first story comes from WabiSabi19 in the Am I the Arsehole subreddit, and it says, Am I the a-hole for cutting off my childhood best friend after he exposed my partner's private past to my family? I, a 22-year-old male, have a childhood best friend who is also a 22-year-old male, and I can't trust him anymore. He's repeatedly shared my private business with others, and whenever I confront him, he denies it, even when he's the only one who knows. I've been dating my partner, who is 28, for just over 2 years. I live away from my hometown and hadn't told my family about the relationship yet, due to unrelated reasons. Only my best friend and a few friends where I live knew about my relationship. I confided in my best friend about an incident involving my partner because I needed someone to talk to. The situation had been handled and wasn't something my partner or I wanted shared. Without context, it could sound much worse than it actually is. I later found out my best friend told my eldest sibling about it without my permission. This led my sibling to confront my mum about me being in a relationship with someone like that, although my mum didn't know about my partner. This was my breaking point. I decided to cut him off because I no longer trust him. In my eyes, he crossed a huge line by sharing my partner's private information. It also made me angry at myself for trusting him with something so sensitive. My mum thinks he didn't act with bad intentions and was just concerned. I disagree. If that were the case, he could have come to me first. I've always been open-minded and understanding. He knew the full situation, including that it was over and handled, and still told my sibling. Am I the a-hole for just cutting him off and not giving him the chance to explain himself? Visit the Redditor Updates forum to see my updated post with more information and context. I swear, I've read a lot of crazy stories, but this one just gets under my skin. Let me tell you something. Trust is a precious commodity. I mean, how hard is it really to keep a friend's secret? It's like this best friend character just took privileged information and sprinkled it around like confetti at a parade. And the worst part is, he doesn't even own up to his mistakes. Now, I know some of you might say, well, maybe he had good intentions. Sure, that sounds noble, but if he truly cared, he would have come to OP first, not circus trotting this personal story to OP's sibling. It's absolutely outrageous. And you know what makes it worse? The aftermath. OP's mum actually thinks he acted out of concern. Really? Nah, mate, that's betrayal with a capital B. If OP's friend was concerned, a friendly chat might have been the key instead. Honestly, I don't blame OP for cutting him off. Once trust is broken like that, sometimes there's no going back. If you feel me on this, or think I'm off base, drop your thoughts below. This whole mess just feels like a massive betrayal to me. Walt in the house says, not the a-hole, but without any more context, it's difficult to say whether your friend deserves to be cut off or not. You say he's been your friend since childhood, and as such, he's probably spent a fair amount of time around your family, so he's probably considered an extended family member, because your mum and siblings know him pretty well. If he was genuinely concerned about you and told your sibling, then the situation you confided in him about must have been serious and/or concerning. In any event, whatever happened in your partner's past that she confided in you about probably should have stayed with you. But it seemed to concern you as well because you even needed to talk to someone about it. If it was so concerning to you, what kind of concern do you think your friend might have had for you when you told him? And while you say it's handled, can you guarantee that whatever it is won't come up again down the road? If you can't, then it's not really handled permanently, just for the moment.
OP responds, please check my update. It wasn't the incident itself that worried me, but rather how it was affecting my partner. There were lies being spread about the person I love, and it was impacting all aspects of his life. Duck on a Gun says, not the a-hole. Friends who cannot be trusted aren't your friends. Turbulent Guest 402 says, he's repeatedly shared my private business with others. So you kept sharing your private business with him when you knew you couldn't trust him. What a best friend. But now you shared someone else's private business? He is an a-hole. But for that, you're the asshole, big time. New Lifeguard 9494 says, I feel like this is hard to judge without knowing what the situation was. I mean, if it was some crime from his past that he went to jail over but has moved on and become a better person, then I would say not the a-hole. But if it was a your boyfriend hit you kind of situation, I could kind of understand him going to your family out of concern.
OP responds. My partner had previously gone on a couple of casual dates with a coworker, but wasn't interested and ended things. The coworker reported something to human resources out of jealousy, which we later found out. I was confused and upset and went to my best friend for support. Eventually, the coworker admitted they made it all up and was let go. My best friend knew all of this. Just one day later, the OP comes with an update, and it says, I would like to start off by saying, first, my partner has read over both this post and my first post and gave me the okay to post them. And second, I'm sorry for leaving information out initially. I'm going to try to give you all the information while trying to maintain as much privacy as I can. Just in case none of this makes sense, my original post is on the Am I the A-hole subreddit. So here's the information I should have included, along with some additional context. I should have mentioned this in my initial post. I was just trying to get straight to the point. My best friend, a 22-year-old male with whom I've been best friends since age 3, would repeatedly tell people my personal information for years. Every time I confronted him, he denied it. But when we were in our teens, it stopped, and there hadn't been any issues for probably a good 5 to 6 years, maybe a bit longer. So he regained my trust, but I was careful about what I told him. I foolishly told him about this incident with my partner, which I know is my fault for telling him in the first place, but I thought I could trust him. In response to the comment asking about my partner, he is an extremely kind, humble, and loving person, and he would never hurt me or anyone for that matter. I replied to someone's comment briefly about the situation, but here's some more information, approved by my partner. My partner went on a couple of dates with a coworker, whom we'll call Blue, prior to us being together. My partner wasn't interested in being anything more than friends and co-workers with Blue, so he ended it. Then we met and started dating. Fast forward 10 months into our relationship, my partner was getting a promotion at his company. His co-workers, including Blue, wanted to take him out for drinks to celebrate his upcoming promotion. My partner brought me with him to celebrate too. I wasn't the only significant other there either. Some of his co-workers brought their partners or spouses. My partner introduced me to a couple of his co-workers I hadn't met before, including Blue. Throughout the night, Blue was staring me down, giving me dirty looks, not including me in conversations, just overall being rude and standoffish towards me. However, I didn't pay much attention to it and continued to enjoy the night with my partner. Then, 3 days later, my partner gets called into HR and is told he is on leave pending an investigation into some claims about being inappropriate towards a co-worker, made by Blue. So there goes his promotion and all his hard work to get that promotion. This is where me telling my best friend comes into all of this. So probably a week after my partner was put on leave, I went to my best friend because my partner was hurting and didn't want to talk to anyone. And I was worried and didn't know how I could help him. It was just so hard to see him like that, especially when he and I both knew these were false claims Blue was making. Anyway, after a month and a bit of Blue sticking to their story about inappropriate behavior towards them and there being obvious holes in their story, Blue came clean and admitted that they had made it all up. Pretty much stating that they just wanted to be with my partner and didn't want him to be with someone else. I don't know, but I think because I'm a man. Blue was let go a few days later. Also, just to note, my partner knew I had told my best friend because I told him pretty much right after I talked to my best friend about it. The next time we saw my best friend, about 2 weeks after it was resolved, he told my partner that he was so happy to hear that everything was resolved. Again, I definitely should have gone into full detail in my first post, but I just wanted to get straight to the point. Thank you for all the comments, though. I appreciate your perspective. Man, I'm actually speechless. So here's what gets me about this update. The sheer audacity. We all give a second chance or two, especially to those we've known since we were knee-high to a grasshopper. But damn, a third, fourth, or fifth? The best friend is running around exposing personal deets like it's a bloody hobby. I mean, and the worst part is, the trust was already shaky from previous shenanigans. Like, this isn't a brand new betrayal. It's a rerun of the drama channel, just different stakes. Your partner's personal embattlement with Blue being the latest episode. Absolute classic. And then, if that wasn't enough, the best friend blabs to the family. What's the gain here? Brownie points from those who love a good gossip? Seriously, keep a lid on, mate. You know? I'm thinking maybe Blue and this best friend should have been friends, given they both seem to thrive in melodrama. Alright, folks, drop your thoughts below, because if OP manages to stay sane through this whirlwind, they honestly deserve a medal for patience and possibly sainthood.
Someone comments, "Still, you're not the a-hole. I have to know though, did your partner get anything back at work that they lost because of Blue? Since Blue admitted to lying and was let go?" OP responds, "My partner ended up getting his promotion but left about 3 months later to work for a bigger company. He was given a higher position at this new company, so it all worked out for my partner." The next story comes from Here's the Beef 123 in the Relationships subreddit, and it says, "How can I, 40 male, get my wife, 41 female, to care about cleanliness?" Wife's, 41 female. Lack of effort around cleanliness is frustrating me, 40 male. To summarize, my wife creates a huge mess and doesn't help with any of the housework. When I ask her to either help or try to make less mess, she comes up with excuses or says that I'm obsessed with cleanliness. To start off, my wife has never been the cleanest individual. She came from, to put it bluntly, a rural family. I mean that quite literally, as they lived in the middle of nowhere in the Ozarks. They never had anything nice, so she never learnt how to properly treat things, and they did not value cleanliness. The last time I went over there, I found a dead mouse in the cutlery drawer that had been there for some time. This wasn't as much of an issue years ago, as I've always been very clean and was able to keep up with her mess. Now, after moving into a much larger house at her request, having a kid, and taking on a role where I work about 16 hours a day, I'm drowning and becoming increasingly frustrated. For example, she cannot open a cabinet or drawer without leaving the contents in total disarray and then leaving the door ajar. I'm not talking just a little out of sorts. Every time she goes into a space looking for something, it appears like she just took the entire contents of that space out, jumbled them up, and just shoved them back in. You can tell wherever she has been because she never closes any door or drawer she opens. She cannot eat anything without crumbs and pieces of food going everywhere. You can sit and watch her eat, and crumbs just pour out of her mouth so that any surface she is eating on is covered and smeared in a mess. She then just takes the crumbs and drippings and sweeps them onto the floor. After numerous requests, she still takes wet and hot items and places them on wood furniture. I collect vintage furniture, and she has ruined dozens of nice, valuable pieces by putting, for example, hot cups of coffee with wet bottoms on them. We have a coat closet 5 feet from the front door. Every day, she just piles her stuff on the floor and table next to it rather than putting it away when she gets in. The pile grows and grows and grows until I put it away. There are often leaking water bottles and opened food in this pile. The cost in my time and money has been incalculable. I spend every waking moment outside of work doing chores. We have also had to repair and throw away so many things because her lack of care has ruined them. This wouldn't be as much of an issue if she contributed or didn't make an amount of mess way above the norm. When I talk to her about it, she treats me as if I'm crazy, as if she can't even see that there is a mess. I can point out that we have mice because she leaves half-eaten food everywhere, and she just does not get it. I've tried numerous ways to rectify this. I've given her chore lists, and she says I'm being too controlling. I've asked, begged, and pleaded. I've tried to demonstrate to her how to clean and take care of things. I've provided detailed verbal and written instructions. I've swapped tasks with her so that I do the things she says are preventing her from cleaning. Literally, the only chores she does are watching the kid, which entails sitting on the sofa on her phone while the kid watches TV, and calling me whenever she needs anything. Doing her laundry, which is doing 3 loads of washing a week and throwing the clean clothes on the floor, and taking out the trash twice a week. I've yelled. I've stopped doing chores for some time, thinking that eventually she will get sick of the mess. None of it works. Let me tell you something. Reading this post has me absolutely dumbfounded. So, here's a bloke absolutely drowning in chaos because his wife simply cannot lift a finger to clean up after herself. And before we dive into the deep end, it's not like he's being nitpicky. This isn't a case of an errant sock on the floor. We're talking about literal chaos with crumbs, disarrayed drawers, and, for crying out loud, a coat closet 5 steps away from the door that's apparently too far for her to reach.
Now, I get it, not everyone grows up learning domestic bliss, but when does it become too much? Her family might have embraced a certain lifestyle, but she surely could grasp that things like vintage furniture aren't there as hot plate guinea pigs. And saying that he's OCD about cleanliness when there's evidence of mice due to food left out? Ridiculous. I mean, this chap has tried everything short of calling divine intervention, from chore lists to desperately abandoning his own sanity, hoping she'd notice the mess. Instead, he's met with excuses and accusations of being controlling. Honestly, the real question here is how one maintains any semblance of sanity in such a whirlwind. If you're listening to this, you've got to feel this bloke's pain. Thoughts, folks? Because I'm reeling here.
Someone says, your wife is disorganized. You married someone who is messy and, hopefully you don't, but you probably will raise someone similar. I lived with someone like this, constantly leaving crumbs and cabinets open. It's disrespectful to them, to you, and to the house you are living in together. I felt like I couldn't have anything nice. I tried to talk and explain, but it had no impact. They don't see it. Unconvinced is like an addiction. They won't change unless they hit rock bottom, but that's unlikely to happen. I always thought I should just do it to keep the peace. I would lie and say people were coming over to prompt them to clean sometimes. I have no advice except to remove expensive things, get rid of clutter. Maybe she has too many coats, and if some disappear, it will make the pile smaller. Maybe you have too much stuff in the cabinets, and if half of it goes away to the basement, it would help. Discuss it with her and show her the issue. If that doesn't work, seek therapy and talk it out. Tell her you're not going to drop this because it's not normal. There are couples who live in separate homes, and I totally get it. OP Pop's response. I truly hope that my daughter does not end up like this. Being slovenly is like a disease.
Our last story comes from Repulsive Tart 1683 in the Relationship subreddit, and it says, I don't want to invite my dad to my wedding because he cheated on my mom 15 years ago. I, a 26-year-old male, don't want to invite my 58-year-old dad to my wedding because he cheated on my mum. My dad cheated on my mum many times in 2010, and she forgave him every time. I hate this, and I hate how easily she forgave him. When I asked her, she said she couldn't be a single mum for 6 kids. I was a 10-year-old male, and my siblings were 17-year-old female, 15-year-old male, 14-year-old female, 4-year-old female, and 1-year-old male. This happened in 2010. When my older siblings turned 18 and older, they cut my dad off completely. They insisted on my mum divorcing dad, and she agreed to the divorce. I was 15 and I chose to stay with my mum, but my younger siblings had another custody arrangement. They were with mum all week and with my dad on the weekends. My dad wasn't bothered by my mum divorcing him, and when she first saw him to hand over my siblings for his custody, he showed up with his girlfriend. She acted unbothered, but when she came home, she cried so hard. My heart shattered seeing her crying, and I didn't know what to do or how to comfort her, so I just hugged her and cried. From that moment, I decided to cut my dad off completely, like my oldest siblings. In the following years, my dad gave my youngest siblings custody to my mum, and he even stopped visiting them or showing up for their birthdays or anything. I saw from his social media posts that he lives the best life possible with his new wife and even had a daughter with her. They travelled to Europe and Japan while my mum worked a full-time job and barely made ends meet, even with child support, for me and my youngest siblings. The one thing my dad did right was paying for all my siblings' college tuition. Even I, the son who hates his dad the most, when I graduated from college, his lawyer contacted me about the college tuition fees. I didn't want to accept it, but my mum pushed me to take it, and I agreed. Now I'm 26, and my older siblings are 32-year-old female, 30-year-old male, 29-year-old female, 19-year-old female, and 16-year-old male. My older siblings are married, and they invite my dad to every wedding. My dad attends their children's birthdays and when they give birth. It's like they forgot what he did to mum and how he hurt her. Yes, dad doesn't see them every day, but still, I hate this. During Christmas, my fiancé and I were at my mum's house with my siblings, their spouses, and my nieces and nephews. The topic of my wedding came up, and we talked about the best man, bridesmaids, etc. I said I am not inviting dad to my wedding, and even his wife is not invited. Only my half-sister is invited. I looked at my older siblings, who were getting annoyed, and they started talking about how unfair it is not to invite Dad and his wife. They talked for 40 minutes about why I should invite Dad and his wife. I cut them off and said it's not going to happen. Dad and his wife aren't invited. There's no need to talk or try to convince me to let him come. My big brother started pressing on why I don't invite Dad, and I snapped, saying, "Because your mum was working 12 hours while your dad was in Japan with his new wife in her 30s, and you were in college living the best life. You never saw how my mum came home from work, her back hurting, barely able to walk or move. So don't talk about inviting him." He stood up and told his wife and 2 kids that they were leaving. He said, "If Dad isn't coming to your wedding, I'm also not coming." Even my older sisters took his side and said the same thing. My brother left, and after some time, my oldest sisters left, leaving me alone with my mum, youngest siblings, and fiancé. We stayed that night with my mum, and I was grateful that my youngest siblings took my side. I know my oldest siblings don't hate my dad as I do, because they saw how much my mum struggled when she divorced Dad. My mum was crying every day because she couldn't afford some stuff we needed, and I worked all my high school years to help her. My oldest siblings didn't face that and didn't see how much pain there was. I want to add more information. My oldest siblings cut my dad off for 5 or 6 years and resumed talking to him when they needed money or favors. And from that point, they continued contacting him regularly. So now I'm losing my siblings for standing up for myself and my mum. The chat group is full of drama and arguments. It blew up when my 29-year-old sister had an agreement with my 19-year-old sister to babysit my nephew. But my 19-year-old sister refused at the last minute, causing my 29-year-old sister to cancel her dinner with her husband at a fancy restaurant. I don't want this to happen, and I know the situation will worsen in the future. My wedding is on April 25th, and until then, I know my siblings will continue having arguments and fights. I want to stop this nonsense. Do I invite my dad and end this drama or not? In my heart, I don't want him there. I asked my mum if she would feel hurt if I invited him, and she said she doesn't care about him anymore and that I can invite him. My plan is to invite him and his wife like any other guests, but my half-sister is family and will sit with my mum and my youngest siblings. My lovely mum has a wonderful relationship with my half-sister. So, what do you think, guys? Should I invite him or not? Note: English is not my first language. Too long, didn't read. I don't want to invite my dad to my wedding because he cheated on my mum. But my siblings are arguing about it, and I'm starting to change my mind to make peace between them.
A Reddit user says, "The answer is obviously no. The day is yours. Don't compromise on your day." The complicated conversation. Do you ever forgive a parent for cheating? Do you ever repair your relationship with that parent? I've seen it happen. Usually there is some contrition and accountability, some understanding and acceptance of how hurt the other person is. I've seen cheating and even divorce relationships get repaired. Not like swept under the rug, but legitimately repaired. I don't see anything of the sort happening in your family currently. This is a sort of thing that needed to be repaired years ago. You don't force a repair just before a wedding. Frankly, it sounds like your mind is well made up, but you're being torn about seeing other people get hurt. You've been concerned about other people being hurt for a long time. You've been concerned about your mom being hurt and your siblings being hurt. For your wedding day, I hope you're most concerned about you being hurt and your fiancé being hurt. You two come first now.
Go nuts, DK chimes in. You don't have to invite your dad if you don't want to. Your wedding should be a day where you and your partner celebrate your love for each other. It's about the two of you. You don't have to spend the day with anyone who upsets you that much. He didn't make an effort to be a part of your life. Then not being a part of it is a consequence of his own choice. It's really that simple. You also don't have to accommodate your older siblings' controlling and manipulative nonsense. It's not his wedding. It's yours. Let him know that it saddens you that he doesn't want to come, but if that is what he wants, then that is his choice to make. Psst. You might want to read up on narcissistic family dynamics, as your older siblings' behavior may be a result of having had such a callous dad as yours. It's good that your mom has moved on, but you still don't have to respect your dad. Respect should be earned and not just freely given. Your mom deserves respect. Your dad doesn't. No matter what you end up deciding on, I hope that you will have a great wedding.
Kink4202 says, when your dad cheated on your mom, it wasn't just her that he was betraying. He was betraying the whole family. This is your wedding, and you should do what you want to do. Don't let anybody else pressure you into doing what they want you to do. I believe your mom was trying to keep the peace by not causing too much of a fuss about this whole situation, but I truly believe she will be proud of you for standing up for her. Good luck.
Oh my, this is really sad. Imagine being caught in this family tug of war, on your wedding day no less. Man, I'm genuinely torn just hearing this. Families can be absolutely mad sometimes, right? There's this flipping chaos of loyalty, betrayal, and forgiveness. Instead of debating the colour of the bridesmaid dresses, it's debating whether to invite the absentee dad who seriously screwed things up. And honestly, I could feel the weight of his decision. Should he include someone who's been living a totally different life, as if the past never happened? Or maintain his stand for his mum? This poor guy just wants a peaceful wedding, but here he is contemplating this bloody conundrum. It's literally insane. Listen, if your family reunion meetings aren't explosive enough, then you've not RSVP'd to that one wedding event we're all secretly dreading. If you're listening to this and you're feeling the pain, drop your thoughts below, because trust me, heartache like this needs group therapy. Now, if you've enjoyed unraveling this family yarn as much as I did, why don't you hit that subscribe button and dive into the rabbit hole of madness we call my channel? Because who knew family drama could be this engaging, right? Oh, and don't forget to check out more videos. Trust me, the stories just get even better. Until next time, take care.